Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's version of Halftime. It is Hump Day here on Brew Sports. It is a beautiful Wednesday indeed. I am Tanner Burke. We have a great show for you today, of course, as always. And Baxter's been a little busy today, so I will be your navigator on this magic carpet ride, if you will. Baxter, good morning.
Hey,
I see you're slowly but surely getting ready for the show
Making it
here.
happen.
That's fine.
Taking names, kissing babies.
How was two up front?
It was fun. Simon was a little sick today, so we had to do a remote show, but it made it work.
Yeah.
I'm also eating a bagel.
Eating a bagel. It's a quick lunch there. That's fine. That's fine. Well, welcome, everybody. It's another fantastic day here on Brew Sports.
Absolutely.
Halftime, my favorite show, and it's not just because it's the one that I host.
I'm pretty sure every show is your favorite
Every show is my favorite show. Every Brew Sports network is my favorite Brew Sports network. Every correspondent is my favorite correspondent.
Network, I thought.
Every segment is my favorite segment, and every Baxter Colburn is my favorite Baxter Colburn.
There's only one, actually. Fun fact, look it up.
Well, that's what you think. That is what you think, my friend.
I've looked it up enough times to know that's the truth.
All right, so on the plate for today, we'll have Greg Schwartz on in just a little bit to chat about what's going on in the NFL. Some fun things out there right now. Gronkowski at it again, of course, back in the WWE. Leonard Fournette, premier running back prospect in the draft, says that he wants to change the position of running back in the NFL, and quite frankly, I love the idea of the league leaning back towards more of a balanced run first, pass first, offense-based league. So it should be interesting. Not that I would draft Leonard Fournette first overall, but you know, I'm always about the running game gaining a little bit more importance. So the Browns are also stuck between Myles Garrett and Mitch Trubisky. This is something that maybe we thought about for a little bit. I mean, what do you mean? Well, they're not stuck, but they're thinking about it.
They shouldn't be, though.
Well, I mean, here's the deal. If you need a quarterback and you're the first overall pick, I mean, almost always you'll reach for a quarterback or at least trade down, but who's saying that somebody's not going to pick it up before you?
There's going to be like 5 of them.
Yeah, but if you want Mitch Trubisky.
Does anybody want
I don't know.
Trubisky?
The Browns might. Who knows? Maybe we can ask Greg about that too. Some other crazy stuff going on out there. But it's What's Up Wednesday. It's my favorite segment. It's my favorite first segment on every Wednesday. What's Up Wednesday?
Representing the Joe Hawk.
Yeah, so there's some crazy things going on out there right now.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So what's up?
The Gronkowski thing is one thing. We can talk about that when Greg comes on, but my favorite golfers just packed up their spring break.
Just packed up their spring break? What does that mean?
Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, and 2 of their buddies were down in, I got to find the course here, but they spent their spring break basically shirtless, shoeless, wearing short shorts, playing golf every day. And they posted out their Snap story on social media. Of course, you know, it's all over the place, but I highly recommend anybody that's watching to go out and look and watch their Snap story because it shows that these people are human.
Well,
and
yeah.
a lot of times, you know, when you're watching professional sports, you forget that these people actually have their own lives and their own personalities. So I'm always about the athletes going out and showing a little bit about who they are and what they like to do. And to watch Ricky Fowler and Jordan Spieth just kind of mess around on a golf course, like
makes for a good
with
time.
farmers' tans and a couple beers in their hands, like it's pretty cool. So it's like me on the golf course in the summer, except with a much less nice to look at body. My body is not as nice as, I mean, to be honest, they're rocking dad bods, so it's not like they got anything special going on. But
you think they have a dad bod? I feel like they're probably still in pretty darn good shape.
Oh, they're in good shape, but you know, there's some room for improvement.
Room for improvement.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
It's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
I mean,
have you ever spent any of your spring breaks doing anything crazy?
I lived in Florida every time that I needed to go to spring break, so I just walked outside and lived my life.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
So for those that are like, spring break, I'm like, I live on the beach. So just going to do my life.
Just going to do what I do all the time.
Day, just not going to go to school.
And now you're here in Wisconsin. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, terrible.
Terrible?
I'm over it. Patrick wants to know if you're going to golf shirtless.
I probably will this summer.
Yeah, I feel like when we do our Brew Sports, when we do the Brew Sports Open.
The Brew is that what we're going to call it?
I think we need to call. Is that what we're going to call the golf tournament? The Brew Sports golf tournament? You can't
call it the Brew Sports golf tournament.
No, that just sounds terrible. Yeah, the BSGT.
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 No, that's terrible.
It sounds like a terrible
We're
TV
not
station
getting-
from like the 80s.
Yeah,
Welcome to BSG.
we're not getting any recognizable
No one
figures
cares
to play
about
at that tournament.
Yeah. No, I don't think so either.
Trevor says good morning. Simon says
up?
Joe Hawk.
Joe Hawk. Shout out to Joe Hawk.
Yeah,
Joe-
here it is. Trevor says Skyline Kaufman and Justin Thomas, or Skyline Kaufman and Justin Thomas. Smiley Kaufman.
I was about to say, Smiley.
Smiley Kaufman, excuse me.
The BSO. See, the BSO, Patrick says, that makes way more sense. Welcome
is-
to the BSO.
If you haven't, I'm sure you haven't seen it though, have you? There's a little snap story from spring break. No. It's like 5 minutes long.
Well, I'm sure I've seen the
it's a
videos
collection,
and
but-
stuff. I mean, Justin Rose posted on whatever, Twitter or Instagram the next day after. He's like, well, got to get some range work in today. Be like, yeah, because you can't hit a drive straight, you idiot.
Yeah.
That's why.
So fun stuff, but it was very cool to look at. I mean, I'm like I said. I mean, when it comes to any sports team that I root for, I always want to get to know the players, and the best way to do that is to show the fans that you're human. So
That is true.
yeah, absolutely.
Gotta feel like you gotta be human. People love the good human stories. I mean, who doesn't love a good human?
I'm
I
a
love
human.
humans.
You're a human.
I'm a human. David's
Everybody's
a
a
human.
human.
We're all humans today.
So David,
National
David's a
Human
human.
Day.
Yeah, that's right.
I love our producer,
That's
David.
right.
I would participate though. I'd like to open the odds that I'd be a 12-1 favorite to win the BSO. I'd like to go on the record right now.
12-1.
12-1 favorite.
How many people are playing in this tournament? 12.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We're gonna be. I mean, let's see. Patrick's watching. Trevor, Kurt's watching. Dave. I mean, Kurt used to be. My father was a pretty good golfer back in the day.
Okay.
And Trevor wants to know what format would the Brew Sports Open be. See, that's the thing. Is that are we gonna? I feel like we gotta get like a jacket. Like you gotta get like a jacket or
Just
a
a
trophy.
hideous '90s windbreaker.
I want to go to Goodwill.
Purple and yellow.
Yeah, I want to get a Goodwill like jacket.
Okay, we can
Something
do that.
like like just
corduroy with
like
patches, leather
something.
patches.
I think that's what needs to happen.
Shoulder
though.
pads.
Yeah, Patrick says he wants to take part. Kurt wants to know if David gets the producer cam and mic like I had yesterday on Pick 6.
I mean, hypothetically he could, but he doesn't have a
He doesn't
microphone
have a
over
microphone over there right
Yes.
now. Dave says he wants in on this tournament. I mean, we could give David a microphone.
He just said. I mean, he just kind of gave me the. I don't know about
like,
that. So
it's
that's
probably
all
safer. There's certain reasons why I get a microphone and sometimes David doesn't.
right. David's a lot more opinionated, a little bit more opinionated than us at
Yes,
times. So
that's the true statement about
So-
it. If you want to know his actual
he's
opinion,
a loose cannon.
He is, man. He when he came in for that interview, oof,
My
came in
gosh.
hot. Adam's
Came in
mad at me
hot.
because I said that I lived in Florida and just lived by the beach, and he was like, "Okay, Baxter." I feel like Adam is my worst critic when it comes to doing a
Yeah,
broadcast.
probably. Yeah.
Adam always is giving his 2 cents about how much he doesn't like me. And I mean, like, come on, Adam. Like, we're trying to be friends here. I mean, it's not my fault that you have 2 first names for a first and last name. I mean, like,
You can't tell our fans that they have to be friends with you.
no, I'm not saying anybody has to be friends with me. I'm just saying that Adam needs to make better life decisions.
My gosh, just criticizing the people that watch day in and day out.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing when people like comment on certain. You're my boy, Baxter. Now Adam and I are
there
best
we go.
friends.
Now you're
so
best
I've
friends.
already been
Okay.
invited to his wedding.
I can't.
As well.
I don't think you can say you're his best friend until you've gone to a Bills game with him and drank excessive amounts of Labatt Blue and Molson Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And Kurt says that me giving him the credit that he was a pretty good golfer back in the day is a bit of a stretch, but he said, but he would totally come play in our tournament for comic relief. I think we need to get this situated. We need to get the BSO.
Do you know where we're gonna play it?
Patrick
where we're gonna
apparently
play
is going to keep us. I thought Patrick was going to help us out.
Oh well, yeah, but I think I have a better place for it.
Do you?
It's the greatest golf course in all the land. It's Trump National. The BSO is gonna be huge.
Down in
Okay,
Doral,
I may have
Florida.
lost all of my endorsements for some of the things I've said, but Trump National, the BSO, we're putting it back on the map.
That makes sense to me.
So
Got to do it.
yes,
Give the people what they want. Down in Doral, Florida. I've been
I'm
to
just
the,
saying,
I've been to the
it's gonna
Trump
be
course. It's
beautiful.
gorgeous. I'd rather go play Greg Norman's course down in Naples.
I mean, I just want to play golf.
I don't care whether it's at the
I wanna win, but, like, I wanna play golf.
Tiddlywinks Corner. What's up, Robert? Saying hey on Facebook. Patrick has got to give me a date. I don't know, Patrick. When's the next available time that we can get out?
Jody, hello, good morning. How are you
I
today?
need clubs though.
Just chatting a little bit of golf right now. Well, we're going to talk some football in a second, but for the Brew Sports Open, I mean, what do you think? What do you think my odds are? I told you my handicap. I'm
I don't
at
have a
about
handicap.
like
That's why I
16,
feel
17.
that's why I feel like I'm a good 12-1.
You're a good 12 to
I'm
1.
a good 12 to 1 odds.
I feel like if you don't have a handicap and you haven't played golf in the last 3 years, your odds should be way worse than that.
Nope.
I'm not putting money down on somebody who I know hasn't played golf in 3
See,
years,
that's
and
the
his
thing.
odds are 12 to 1.
I think we have the odds. We also bet on everybody else to see. Like, you can't bet on yourself, though.
I don't want to bet on myself. I wouldn't do that. It'd be stupid to. But I
That'd
think
be
my odds
fun.
are going to be a little bit better than 12 to 1. But at the same time, I don't know.
Adam
I don't
says
know.
he's playing a best ball on May 1st and hasn't swung a club since last June. I don't remember the last time that I swung a golf club.
See, that's my point. How can you
last
say your odds
summer.
are 12-1? I think it's gonna be a little bit worse than that.
Because I have
we don't even
the-
know who's playing, and
I
I think it's gonna be worse than that.
non-playing consistently luck ever. I'm a great driver. My short game needs a little bit of work.
Do you have a
but-
license?
To kill. That's all I have. And Greg Norman's
I don't
course
know.
in Naples is T-Bone. That's what it is. I couldn't think of.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll have to plan
I think
this
this should
out.
be a traveling golf tournament.
Okay.
We play the Open, the British, the Brew Sports Open. We play in Milwaukee.
Yep.
We go up to Whistler for an afternoon, and we go down.
Not to play golf,
No,
just to hang out.
just to whistle. Just to
I
walk
hear
around.
there's a great restaurant up there. It's Cajun.
Love me some Cajun. We can go down to New Orleans.
Yes. The
word
word
is-
is Turber is the favorite. I'd probably put my money on Turber.
I'd like to think that I could pull the upset on Turber. I think Turber's too full of himself. It's the
I don't know
golfer-
about
It's the
that.
golfers that are too
I
full
don't know
of
about
themselves
that.
that are the ones that ultimately end up crashing and burning. I mean, Dustin Johnson. Am I right? He couldn't handle the pressure. He fell down some stairs because
yeah,
he just
but
couldn't deal with it.
Trevor's like a 6 handicap. You haven't played golf in 3 years.
A year.
A year.
It's been
Okay.
a year.
I haven't played golf in a year, and I think I'll be able to hold my own.
Yeah, I think I will too.
Okay.
Jody says I'm great at mini golf. I think Jody's going to be my sub for any
Here's the
time I
deal.
get
Maybe
on
we
the
should
green.
also do. Like,
Brew
it'd be
Sports
like
Open.
it'd be like
Would
the
that be-
equivalent of the par three tournament.
So we open at the local Pirates
Adventure
Cove,
golf or
Adventure
whatever,
Golf
yeah.
or Jungle Rama Golf
Yep.
Rooney.
Got to hit through the clown's mouth
Yeah,
and
man.
get through the pinwheel.
Yeah, Trevor says he's calling me out here. He's like, yeah,
Have a heavyweight matchup. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
that's true. Kurt also says apparently that I only play 4 holes at a time.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
I'm not going to dive too far into that.
Trevor says hashtag give the people what they want. That's way too long of a hashtag. I
Yes.
also want to know, Dave, if you're still watching, which I see that you are you still in Costa Rica? Because you were in Costa Rica yesterday watching the Morning Brew, and I want to know if you're still down in Costa Rica.
Dave's in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
All right, Dave.
Right? Remember
All
when I
right.
went to Costa Rica? I thought I was your favorite
Patrick
announcer.
says I was once a 9 handicap. Patrick, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Adam wants to know when the media days are. I mean, I think we
media days?
schedule this out. We
No
have,
phones on the course.
No.
No pictures.
We
You'll
will-
be banned for
We
life.
will have $1.50 grilled cheese sandwiches because we're not
Yep.
fancy enough for pimento.
For pimento, yes.
But,
Regular American white bread,
Well,
roundies,
I'll bring
grilled cheese.
I'll bring my George Foreman grill from the house. My wife will cook up the griddles. You might even get a little bit of formula from my bottles from the baby.
And Trevor can bring the bison dip from Buffalo.
Bison dip and grilled cheese.
Perfect.
Yeah.
For those that are watching, it's not made out of actual bison.
Oh, that's right.
It's the brand.
My dad is reminding me now
Yes.
because when I lived in Florida, here's another reason for Adam to hate
Go
me. I
on.
lived on a golf course, so I would walk
Yes.
out and play the last 4 holes of the golf course for free because I didn't want to pay the money to be a member.
Well, yeah.
So I would just walk out. So that's why my dad
mean-
says I'm only good at playing 4 goals.
Not only are you a thief, but you're smart about it.
Damn right I am.
I mean, Trevor and I would do the same thing. I mean, we'd go down to Kiowa, where we had some family friends that
Kiowa?
lived on. It's in South Carolina. Kiowa's a PGA course. Okay, let's just. I apologize to everybody watching that Baxter does not know where Kiowa is or what Kiowa is.
Sounds like something like quinoa in Iowa had a baby.
Yeah, Kiowa Island, yes, in South Carolina, just outside of Charleston. But we'd sneak on the course, play a couple holes, and we'd go down to Orlando too once a year, and we had a condo on a course down there. We'd sneak out and play a couple holes barefoot.
Yeah.
and shirtless, much like my boys Ricky Fowler and Jordan Spieth.
True.
So
Dave says he's enjoying it. He's in Costa Rica for another 10 days. He's an 8 handicap, by the way. And Robert wants to know where the beers are. And also why we haven't talked football yet with Greg.
what is Robert says? Me foot bath, you no beers equals us no man. LOL.
I love a good foot bath.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Should we
The
talk-
ocean course, beautiful track. All right.
Gorgeous people.
Should we shift gears here?
I mean, I'm really enjoying this. Oh, that's right. Dave's on his honeymoon. That's right.
We have Greg on the line too. I don't want to keep Greg.
Dave,
if he's...
Dave, keep watching. But Dave, what's with people watching on their honeymoons? James is
James is
while he's in
watching too,
Greece.
yeah.
Dave's on his honeymoon. Y'all should be
Get off your phone. Get off your computer. But seriously though, keep watching.
But
We
for real
appreciate
though,
it.
and share to everybody.
I guess, yeah, share.
Hit
of
the share
course.
button if you're gonna sign off. At least share to like 1 trillion friends.
Yeah, be sure to, for those of you watching, of course, be sure to click the alerts button. I think it's in the comment section for people who haven't already done it. But invite all your friends and click the alert button that says, I want to know when Brew Sports goes live, because we go live all the time.
Can you show me when Brew Sports is live? All right, let's go. Dr. Greg.
Were you just singing some Phil Collins?
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm not a good Phil Collins.
I can get behind that, though.
Thank you.
I can get behind that.
Look at
Greg, good morning. How are you today? Greg Schwartz, ladies and gentlemen.
The man, the myth, the legend. You should have kept singing, Greg, or like swung in on like a rope or something, be like, we're on the Tarzan theme, so I might as well keep going with it.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Well, Greg, how's everything going out there, my friend? Things are dandy. That's good. That's good. Well, there's a lot going on in the football world. Greg Schwartz, one of our NFL football correspondents here. We're creeping up on the draft here. It's just, a few days away. It's right around the corner. It's pretty much the Pro Bowl of the offseason, mind you, where we just root for a bunch of players who we know nothing about and hope that they
I think the
pan
draft
out.
is more exciting than
It
the
is
Pro
more
Bowl.
exciting, but it's, compared to the fact that there's nothing going on
True.
right now in football, aside from Gronkowski showing up on WWE for the second time in 3 weeks. Anyways, Greg,
Give him the
what's
chair.
I know. Greg, have you seen the news? Gronkowski's back at it again. Let me preface for those of you who do not know. Gronkowski was in the front row at WrestleMania just a couple weeks ago, and Jinder Mahal, new WWE superstar, threw Gronkowski's beer at him, and in perfect Gronkowski fashion, Gronkowski stormed the ring and kicked the crap out of him. So, and then recently, Gronkowski showed up on SmackDown, I believe it was on Monday, and returned the favor to Jinder Mahal by throwing his beer in his face. So, Greg, what's your opinion on this? I know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Some people say that, these athletes need to stay out of the media. I mean, Baxter and I talked about in the past where we don't think some players could get away with some of these things. But when it comes down to it, Gronkowski's one of those characters where everybody can get behind his insanity from time to time. And I love the fact that he adds an entertainment aspect to the league. And quite frankly, the NFL is an entertainment industry first, sports industry second. We've seen that time and time again. Aside from that, but what's your opinion on Gronkowski just kind of doing his own thing in the offseason so far, the new Super Bowl champion?
The Patriots have signed off on it. They're fine with it. Again, it's WWE is an entertainment business more so than a cataclysmic wrestling outfit. Saying that, there is a lot of stunt work involved, but I think everything is at a controlled within a controlled environment that the risk is minimal for him. The other thing that I take away from it is, I guess his back must be healthy because I don't think he'd be out there doing those things if he was still sore or injured or whatnot. And so I think that bodes well for Tom Brady, the Patriots, and also all the Gronk owners out there in fantasy football.
Yeah, Gronkowski has a history of injuries, but I think you're right in the aspect of saying that he's clearly healthier right now if he's willing to throw his body at a couple guys in the ring who are twice his size. And it's weird to think that there are guys out there who are bigger than Gronkowski because when you see him on the field, he's ginormous. But then you see him next to Brock Lesnar, and you're like, oh my God.
Like, good Lord, you're such a baby.
Yeah, so it's funny. It kind of makes him look like he is a dead Bob, which I don't know what would make me look like. But
here's what I don't understand about Rob Gronkowski, though, is that he can still do all of this with zero repercussions. I mean, nobody else is doing this. I mean, Jimmy Graham isn't out doing this from the tight end position. Travis Kelce's not out there doing this either. And those guys are struggling to stay relevant each and every game, where Rob Gronkowski can only get 3 catches and a touchdown, but still go for 185 yards.
Meanwhile,
is it the quarterback that's feeding him the ball? Is that how he's so successful?
I don't know. I think he's just one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game. But I think it's hilarious that Gronkowski can go out here and do this while there are 30 players, retired and current, getting fined for arm wrestling in Vegas. It's like, are you kidding me? Are we doing this?
I mean, you beat me, so I
don't understand it. I don't understand it. And even that is even ridiculous in itself. The NFL putting a team in Vegas and then yelling at them or slapping them on the wrist for arm wrestling. So, Greg, what do you think about that?
Well, before we get into the arm wrestling thing, I mean, the one comparison that's there is AJ Pierzynski from several teams, including the White Sox, but from the world of baseball, was doing the wrestling thing for a while in his off seasons, and other than being a quirky distraction, there wasn't really any repercussions or anything with that either. I know the NFL runs itself differently, but still, I think it's just the guy likes wrestling. He gets into it. He's a name and a face, and they've incorporated him in, and apparently now he's got a career after football when that ends. So the arm wrestling thing, I agree with you. I mean, it's odd that the NFL can say, okay, we're over the gambling stereotype in Vegas enough to put a franchise in the city, but then anybody still interacting with the city is in trouble. It's too many mixed messages at this point. That are you committed to Vegas or are you not?
Right. Luis on Facebook says Gronk's fate is pro wrestling. I would totally agree with Luis on this one. I mean, Gronk's an entertainer. He's going to get some sort of a reality show. He's going to do something. I mean, he'd probably, he's won enough Super Bowls now to not even have to really worry about, that elusive one he's still waiting for. Like,
yeah, no.
He could retire.
His best friend is Tom Brady.
He could
so
retire
now
okay. If he wants to and go and have a very successful entertainment career and not ever really have to worry much about,
who
hurting
else
his
could
body
do that?
anymore.
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn freaking Lynch.
No, I think that brings up a good point because Gronkowski is an entertainer. I mean, he's a loose cannon and everybody loves it. Everybody loves him for that. He is the fraternity brother of the NFL.
The only time being a loose cannon's a good thing.
He's the crazy cousin that comes to the family party, but everybody loves him for being crazy.
Right.
He's the first person to break something, the first person to, say something he shouldn't, and then the first person to make everybody laugh. So Marshawn Lynch is doing that right now. Marshawn Lynch could easily make a career out of being an entertainer. And, quite frankly, I don't think there are many guys in the league that can get away with stuff like this, but I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, Marshawn Lynch is one of those guys that, I mean, you're gonna listen to what he has to say, which doesn't happen very often, obviously, but you're gonna listen to anything that he does just because he is just such that odd figure. And I don't think that he would be very good at pro wrestling, no.
No.
He's a
I don't
big
think
guy.
Rob Gronkowski could either. Do you really think Rob Gronkowski could beat up Brock Lesnar?
Rob has we've seen smaller guys. I mean, Donald Trump came out and was dropping people back in the day. I mean, so there's no physical requirements to be a pro wrestler. Let's be honest about this. This is all how the script is written. I could go out there and take out The Undertaker tomorrow if I wanted to.
That's not going to happen.
I could, though.
Let's shift gears a little bit here. Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are supposedly stuck between Myles Garrett and Mitch Trubisky. The Myles Garrett, the sure and done first overall pick, he has the most talent than anybody in the draft. And Mitch Trubisky is the quote-unquote best quarterback in the draft for a team that needs a quarterback and has needed a quarterback for 20-plus years. I don't know if it makes sense to me, but they're not going to be in this position again next year to have a first overall pick. But Baxter said that you could easily pick a quarterback at, what are they, 12?
12.
At 12, so... and who knows, Mitch Trubisky might still be available at that point. But why do teams feel the need to reach on quarterbacks who may not even have first-round talent, Greg?
The lure of hitting the home run, I think, is the big deal as far as getting that guy who is the franchise quarterback, but also the future Hall of Famer and things like that. But yeah, I'm with you guys. Everything I've seen, Mitchell Trubisky.
Mitchell, that's right.
Mitchell, let's be politically correct here, Greg. Come on now.
There you go. Only played 1 year, at a high level, but still, it's a small sample size to be throwing first pick of the draft money. I mean, we were talking about the draft earlier. I mean, it's the only place where you'll see 32 guys become instant millionaires as they cross the stage. With first pick money, though, I mean, that's some serious coin for a guy that really hasn't proven much yet. And when you look at some of the other quarterbacks, I mean, they're all flawed. So I really in the Browns case, I totally agree. I think you take the sure thing at the front end, at the pick number 1, and at pick number 12, you might not get Trubisky, but you're going to wind up with one of those guys who I think are mix and match at this point.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Facebook here, too, people are kind of agreeing with you. Robert asked, didn't he play at UNC? Yes, he did. But he's only started 13 games for the Tar Heels. So, I mean, how can you possibly warrant him as a number 1 overall draft pick? And it is very much correct here what Adam is saying, too. He said the media, they're the ones to blame for this. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, let's be honest. That's the media's job, is to start, circulating and, swinging the wagons here and there so we know what players to draft. I mean, just draft the players that were the best in the league last year. When's the last time you heard of a Heisman Trophy winner not being a first, overall draft pick? Like, it's going to be very strange to not have that happen this year.
The Heisman is a little bit overrated, in my opinion, though, in that I remember back in the day there were guys that weren't taken at all, or they were taken in the later rounds just because they didn't fit the NFL prototype. Problem you have now, though, with the quarterbacks in college is they almost exclusively run that spread. So NFL scouts are still kind of at a loss as far as how they're going to translate to a pro-style offense at this point. But again, that's why I'd be really reluctant to throw number 1 pick money. I mean, everybody thought Ryan Leaf was a sure thing back in the day.
Yeah, that's true.
So and honestly, I don't see any of these guys being at Ryan Leaf's caliber at this, right before the draft. I mean, certainly he fell off the face of the earth and had attitude issues once he got the big contract. But I think you take the sure thing pass rusher, and Browns are in a great position with picking 12th. There'll be at least 3 of the top 5 quarterbacks will be available, and I think it'll be more like 4 or 5 of the top 5 quarterbacks will be available. Then they can have their pick of the litter.
I couldn't agree more. The quarterback position is the one position that you find getting drafted way higher than the talent, I think, perceives. So we'll see what happens.
It's a passing league.
It is a passing league.
And it's the most important position on the field.
It is. And it's the hardest position to come by, too, to find somebody who can really carry your team. So there's such a ginormous difference between elite and second-tier quarterbacks. So, and you almost always see the elites in the Super Bowl. So maybe they reach and draft a quarterback in Trubisky. But Greg, fortunately, we're gonna have to let you go here. Thank you, of course, for coming on. Where can people find you on the social media verse? And where can we read your wonderful writings and such? I can't speak today. I give up.
You're fired.
I'm fired.
I don't know how to write that. That would be very difficult to translate. But I am on Twitter at 3G_media and Facebook at GNSCHW.
Phenomenal.
Beautiful. Well, Greg, thank you very much for coming on, my friend. As always, we will see you very soon, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Thank you.
All right,
awesome.
beautiful.
Thanks, Greg.
Bye.
Adam makes a cool comment here on Facebook.
Okay.
He says, the Browns should take Myles Garrett at number 1, and they should pick up Jay Cutler, and then use that 12th overall pick to actually do something else productive to help continue to shore up the team. Bring in a surefire veteran.
I don't think Cutler's going to play this year.
You don't think so?
No.
It'd
be a total Cleveland move if they went and picked up Kaepernick.
Well, they should.
Should they?
No, they shouldn't.
No,
I just got a
probably
notification, though, from the Score, and they said that Tony Romo has yet to officially sign retirement papers.
Oh, boy.
So you're saying there's a chance.
It's he's just hanging low fruit.
Kicking the tires.
I do want
for that contract.
I do want to talk about something real quick. I was going to bring it up with Greg, but we ran out of time.
Right.
Greg was talking about how quarterback is the most important position in football, which it is, and you were talking about how it is a passing league. There is a running back in the draft who some people thought for a brief moment the Browns may draft first overall, which would be totally ridiculous. But Leonard Fournette is out to change the position of the running back in pro football, and he wants to, of course, make a huge impact on whatever team will inevitably draft him. So, Baxter, what's your opinion on the running back position and possibly getting a balance of powers in the league? I mean, because you even look at the elite quarterbacks, and there aren't that many coming out. Even like you look at Andrew Luck, who was supposed to be the next great quarterback, the next John Elway, and he has done next to nothing. So it's continuously getting harder and harder to find your guy. So as teams continue to run out of time, they start finding other ways to balance the powers, if you will. And, of course, the first place I would look would be the running back position. So what's your opinion on that?
Well, listen, the running back position is something, of course, that people are going to always talk about. Everybody wants to know, who the next great runner is. And in my opinion, Leonard Fournette is a strong running back, but he's not one of those guys that I feel like you can build a team around, because we saw his deep drop in value last year for LSU. LSU was one of those teams rumored to be a national championship contender. They lost week 1 to the Wisconsin Badgers. Go Badgers. But aside from that, this team has just done nothing to help support Leonard Fournette going forward. Now you expect him to make this first overall draft pick sort of a money. There are numerous players that are still around in the free agent market / other younger guys that you can develop. Plus, the Browns still have guys on their roster that could still be very helpful as a team, as they continue to grow moving forward. I think Leonard Fournette, number 1 overall, would be the biggest mistake that Cleveland could make. If you had to go with Garrett, Trubisky, and with Leonard Fournette, it just doesn't make sense to me. Leonard Fournette is not a surefire thing. Even Jacksonville, I think Fournette, if anything, needs to be outside of the top 15, because he still has a lot he has to learn, and I think there's other better available players out there.
I mean, I talked about yesterday about how I don't think a running back should be drafted in the first round anymore these days, because they are not game changers like they used to. You can't win a Super Bowl with, Adrian Peterson, and that's been proven. So
it certainly helps, but it's
if
true.
you have
it's
a quarterback that
thing,
can
though.
take you there, having a solid running game is going to help you do that. But I mean, a good complementary example would be Marshawn Lynch in Seattle with Russell Wilson. They would have 2 Super Bowls if they gave the ball to Marshawn Lynch.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, but that's the what-if scenario, though, too.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
But think about, though, Leonard Fournette is running, behind guys at LSU that are all Americans. He's trying to run behind guys in Cleveland now that actually might help him as well. I mean, these are seasoned veterans. Joe Thomas is there, J.C. Treader, Kevin Zeitler. These guys are actually high-quality offensive linemen. They're going to help make any running back better. But I worry the fact that Leonard Fournette is going to have all this pressure on him right off the bat. He needs to learn behind a high-caliber veteran running back for at least a season or at least a half a season, split some carries, do something of that nature. He can't be that number 1 guy. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
And very rarely will you ever see a rookie running back come out of the draft and be that number 1 guy. There are some exceptions, of course, in Ezekiel Elliott. Some guys get drafted to be the number 1 guy, like Todd Gurley, but we saw what happened to Todd Gurley after his first season. I mean, he just kind of fell apart, fell off the face of the earth. And we're not really sure what's going to happen with him right now. And that's part of the thing. Why would you reach on a running back in the first round when, knowing that the pro level is such a more fast-paced league compared to college, that these running backs aren't going to be as good in the pro level as they are in college. So it just doesn't make sense to reach on a guy like that. Kind
of a mixture of emotions here on Facebook. Robert says that Fournette is a top 10, but then now he's saying that I am right by my evaluation of Leonard Fournette. Adam also saying that he's not an elite running back, and he believes he'll be picked up as somebody that needs a team later on in the draft, maybe the 2nd or 3rd on the depth chart. Fournette did have awful games last year. I mean, this is the thing. I was excited to watch Leonard Fournette in 2016, and then you see just how far he fell against Wisconsin. No offense against the Badgers, but the defense against the Badgers is nearly as good as what the Gators were and what the Bama Tide was last year either. And he struggled against high-caliber defenses. How can you expect him to then now try to go and play, running the ball against some of the best defenses when you've got, guys flying all over you? When J.J. Watt's trying to tackle Leonard Fournette, for example, I mean, that's not going to end well for Leonard Fournette. He's going to end up on the IR with a bad ankle, which he already has anyway, so he's got the injury concerns as well, too. Leonard Fournette is this guy that is overhyped just because he had one breakout year in 2015, and now everybody expects him to suddenly just take over the NFL because he's a strong, big running back. It's not what's going to happen.
I mean, I'm excited for the draft. I always get excited for the draft, and it's not just because I'm hoping that the Bills will draft their savior or whoever.
Every year.
It's happened. We've gotten great players out of the draft. I mean, but ultimately, some of them do leave. Like Stephon Gilmore's I'm going to go play with Tom Brady and name my daughter after Giselle.
Makes sense.
Come on.
Listen, I'm looking right now. I'm looking through the top 20 in major rushing categories last season. Top 20 in rushing attempts.
Okay.
No Leonard Fournette. Top 20 in rushing yards. No Leonard Fournette. Top 20 in rushing yards per attempt. Oh, look at that. No Leonard Fournette. And top rushing touchdown leaders. No Leonard Fournette.
Okay.
That right there explains it.
So he's not elite. Don't draft him.
Exactly.
I don't know what to tell you.
Straightforward. I mean, but then here are the other guys, though. Dalvin Cook out of FSU. He's a terrific, fast running back. 19 rushing touchdowns last season.
Yeah.
He finished with 1,700 rushing yards last year as well, too. just a terrific player left and right, no matter how you slice it. I think he's going to be one of those players that could change your franchise. Even, Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, he had a little bit of a down year last year, but I'd still take Christian McCaffrey over Leonard Fournette because the NFL, as you mentioned, though, is trying to get back to that running, first pass, second league. But that's just not going to be that's not realistic. It's not going to happen for another 5 to 7 years. So get the Dalvin Cooks, get the Christian McCaffreys, because they're going to work into those fast-paced offensive systems so much better than Leonard Fournette, who's just going to try to grind, 3 to 5 yards every carry. That's just not sustainable in this league's NFL right now.
I think we should shift to something a little bit more glamorous. I know you wanted to talk about this. I think they're coming out today, but the Chicago Cubs World Series champions are finally getting their World Series rings, and rightfully so. They will have 108 diamonds on the ring. My God, that sounds amazing.
What would you even do with 108 diamonds, though? That's my real question.
Is the whole thing just going to be made of diamonds?
Where do you put your finger? There's no room for your finger.
There's only, yeah, well, man, I don't know.
I feel like you ought to say something
I
else.
did. I wanted to say something. I'm refrained from doing so. I'm not a hooligan. I'm not a degenerate. I will not stoop to that level of childhood nonsensical humor.
True. Robert makes a good point, by the way. Sorry, not to go back to that.
Yes.
But Robert says, seems like the best running backs get drafted by better teams later in the rounds. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Look at almost every single running back in the NFL right now that has been successful. It's because they weren't the number 1 overall pick or they weren't a top 10 pick. Adrian Peterson, the exception to the rule. But even then, he's tapered off as well, too.
Well, then you could say the same thing about quarterbacks, too. Look at a lot of the guys who come out in the later rounds, like Russell Wilson, who I think was like a 5th rounder.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady is, so you can find, that's where the value of the drafts really come into play. You can get pure talent in the first round. Unless you're drafting like a quarterback who's actually like maybe more of a 3rd rounder. But you can get pure talent who can be a shutdown corner, who can be a solid defensive end, defensive lineman, maybe a center. You can get pure talent in the first round.
Right.
But your scouting talent for your team is really going to come into play in rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7 when that's how deep your scouting has gone to know that, hey, I know that we can get this guy in round 5, and he's actually a 3rd round talent, and nobody else knows about it. So that's what really will determine whether or not you win or lose a draft. So that's where I get excited about players, because the Bills themselves even have been very good at drafting later in the rounds and drafting starting talent. I think most of our drafted players over the last couple of years have ended up starting at some point during the season. Some of them right off the bat too. So, but I think it's interesting. I love the draft. I do not have the patience to go through like Mel Kiper and just vet every single college athlete, but I'm also not getting paid $1 million a year to do so and do just that. So,
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Todd McShay sat down today, I think, and released like a 3-round like GM version of a mock draft today on ESPN, but you of course have to be an insider to spend, to get any sort of, you have to spend money to see what it is.
Naturally, everything costs money these days, except Brew Sports. Weird. Huh. David, did you know that? Brew Sports is free. Anyways.
As you were.
As you were. I just want to say hello, of course, to the people watching. Jody, Peter's on here now. Patrick and Adam, of course, as always. Be sure to comment, be a part of the discussion. Are we talking MLB now? What do you want to talk about?
What's going on? I'm trying to find the ring.
Trying to find the ring? Is it out there? I looked for it earlier. I didn't see it, but
there's supposed like leaked versions of it, and I want to see if I can find said leaked version.
Yeah.
But
well, the Chicago Cubs are getting or receiving their World Series championship rings today. I believe it's today, and the rings will have 108 diamonds on it, one for each year that
shine bright like
they were inevitably cursed. But you know, maybe their curse was only 100 years, and they just were not good enough the last 8 years.
Oh,
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe.
I love sports curses. I think they're so funny. But anyways, I want to talk about, so the MLB is starting. Ooh, you guys talked about it a little bit this morning. Some players that are surprising the MLB. See, I can say that.
I know that makes sense.
I can say that.
That makes sense though.
No, how does it? It's the same Major League Soccer and Major League Baseball. What are you talking about?
It is just MLB.
Oh my God.
It is just MLB.
Oh my God. I'm gonna throw up on this show one of these days.
Like Beckham did a couple of years ago.
Jesus. Anyways, I do want to talk about this really quick. Texas Longhorns new coach Herman. Oh, God, I forgot his first name already. Anyways, the reason I bring this up, he apparently has a little thing with hydration. And I find it funny because there continues to be new science out there that says we overhydrate some of our athletes. Here we go. Anwar Richardson says on Twitter, he posted the picture of this chart. And he said, went to take a leak in Moncrief, and this was hanging above the toilet. Tom Herman's attention to detail is real. And it is a laminated chart. Thank God it's laminated. It's in the bathroom. It has their hydration levels, and it's a 1 through 8. And it has the color of their urine and where they should be at.
We had that in college at the school that I went to. Above the locker room, the athlete locker rooms.
Sometimes, I mean, there's studies out there that say we are overhydrating, especially some of the young little leaguers, but this is, I mean, I'd rather have them in the locker or in the weight room than worrying about hydration. I feel like hydration is self-explanatory. If you have a hydration problem, you're not going to be a successful program. That's pretty straightforward. You know what I mean? So
makes sense to me.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a little. It just seems like micromanaging. I think to me, I'm not worried about my players' urine if they're playing well. So whatever. I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was funny, so maybe I'll post a picture of it.
Overhydration, that seems rather interesting. I mean, how can you overhydrate yourself? I mean, I know you can drown yourself by drinking too much water.
I don't. It's not necessarily just like overhydration. Not like you're going to hurt yourself, but it's unnecessary hydration. You know, if you're thirsty, you're thirsty. Obviously, you need to drink water as opposed to salted Gatorade. I don't know.
It's a bummer that today's not Thirsty Thursday.
Tomorrow, I'll bring it up again tomorrow. Let's see. What else is going on? Hey, you know what else is up? The NHL and the NBA playoffs are starting this week. The NHL starts tonight, and I believe the NBA starts tonight or tomorrow. No, tonight is the last day of the regular season for the NBA. But
correct.
So the NHL starts tonight for the NHL playoffs, and some teams who have missed out on the playoffs have already started making drastic changes. Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars have already fired Lindy Ruff and hired Hitchcock as their new head coach. But I wanted to talk about somebody who is kind of flying under the radar in the NBA so far. And, of course, he hits close home to us here being in Milwaukee. Some have talked about him being elite, and some have questioned whether or not he is the new superstar of the NBA. And I think it is quite apparent that he is, and the Bucks would not be where they are without him. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, he does it all, and his stats are proving that he is elite. He leads all 5 major statistical categories in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks on the entire team, and he's only the 5th player in NBA history to do that.
Jeez.
That's amazing. I heard he was only the 5th person to do that. I mean, I got to see who else is on the list, but, I mean, it's amazing.
I mean, I'm looking at his stats right now from the last 4 seasons that he's played here. I mean, he's been playing for the Bucks since he was 19 years old. I mean, that was the big story when he got drafted and he out of Greece. People were like, who in the world is this Giannis fella? I thought he was honestly some white guy at first, but the last name like that. And then I saw him, I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. That's got to be cool. I was picturing some really long, gangly, Dirk Nowitzki kind of guy, honestly, when I first heard the name. But, yeah, you look at the stat line here for this guy. I mean, he runs all over the place. I mean, as you mentioned, he averages about 5.5 assists a game. He's blocking almost 2 shots per game as well too, and he's averaging about 23 points a game as well too. I mean, that is phenomenal right there from a budding franchise that is the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, they have been trying to rejuvenate themselves in 2017, and they have. They've secured a great spot in the playoffs. They're likely going to take on the Toronto Raptors in the first round, which I think is going to be a huge opportunity for them. Toronto, of course, is a very difficult team to beat and place to play. The international borders to travel, thankfully, it's not too far of a flight for the Bucks. But Giannis, I mean, what can you say about him? A future Hall of Famer? I'd like to think at this point. I think you can make that argument at this point.
I think that's a very safe thing to say. He has the potential to do it, and what's amazing is Milwaukee got lucky. I don't want to say maybe they didn't get lucky, but they drafted a guy that not only wants to be in Milwaukee, but he's also elite. It's hard enough to get the elite players to come to Milwaukee as it is, or to go to Cleveland, or to go here or there. Cleveland was lucky to get LeBron, who was a homer, who then left and then came back after his college trip in Miami. But it's these smaller teams in these smaller cities, it's a lot harder to win in these places because you're not LA, you're not Miami, you're not Chicago. Your fan base doesn't sell out every single game. But when you get a guy like Giannis who grew up in a different country, selling knockoff goods on the streets just to earn money for his family. I mean, Giannis loves
dedication
Milwaukee.
right there.
It is, and there's a great Sports Illustrated article out there from a couple months ago that talks about how good of a person he is and how happy he is to be here in Milwaukee. And I mean, the fact that he's playing as well as he is. I mean, he's only the 5th player in NBA history to lead the team in all 5 major stat categories. I haven't been able to find the other 4 players that have done that, but I mean, just a truly amazing thing. And quite frankly, he has the potential to carry the Bucks into the playoffs here. And the good news is he's still young. He's only 21 years old. He's only 21 years old. There's a couple players who are also like right there. Brogdon is also in running for Rookie of the Year, so they have a lot of young talent.
They do.
And to be a 6th seed right now and potentially make a little bit of a run into the playoffs, we'll see. But I'm excited for Giannis and the city of Milwaukee. So
right, yeah.
Good things are coming.
Tom asked, he says, when was this last year when the Bucks made the playoffs? Well, the Bucks are just a shell of who they were last year. They actually spent money in the offseason. They've actually tried to rejuvenate the roster as a whole, and some players just go in ebbs and flows. I mean, you can't always be good. It's just not physically possible.
He also says I nailed the pronunciation. You know how many times I had to say the name Giannis Antetokounmpo or listen to it before I could get it right? It's actually fun to say. It like rolls off the tongue really. But when they drafted him, I worked an event for the draft. It was a Fox Sports review here in Milwaukee, and when we drafted Giannis Antetokounmpo, I was like, who the hell is this guy? Why would you draft somebody with a name that is impossible to say? But they made the right choice, clearly. So what are you going to do?
Tom wants to know if he uses Windex for everything as well, too. That's a great movie reference. That's
oh, my
phenomenal.
gosh. That is
My
great.
Big Fat Greek Wedding. I hope he does. I hope that stereotype
Put some
is
Windex
alive and
on
well.
it. What's the one line in that movie where you're just like, oh, no, I'm a vegetarian. That's okay. I'll make you lamb. It's like, oh, my God. I love it.
I feel like that'd be Mama Burke. Like,
oh
what's
yeah.
that? You want a
well,
salad?
her rule was
I
always
make you buffalo dip.
Her rule was always you don't have to eat it, but you have to try it. And that's very hard for some of my friends who come by because some of them are very picky eaters.
Right.
And I had to tell them, I said, if I had to do this when I was 5 years old, crying, complaining, saying I don't like it, and then I try it and I end up loving it, like you have to do it. Brussels sprouts are actually very delicious if they're cooked right. So just try them.
If they're seasoned
My
properly,
God.
yeah.
Nobody wants raw Brussels sprouts. Yes, of course.
Terrible idea. Why would anybody do that?
It'd be like jelly without peanut butter. What was that? What are you doing? What are you doing there? Oh, my God. Let's see. What else? Anything else going on out there that you want to hit at before we run out of here?
No, I don't mean that. There's not been a whole lot, honestly. They finally found the guy that set up the bomb by the Borussia Dortmund team bus yesterday.
Oh, they did?
They did, yeah. And they said that the bombs were actually filled with nails. As well, too.
Oh, my God.
They were terrifying. There was 3 bombs that were hidden in a bush that the team bus drove by. It was neither George or Herman.
So what were the injuries like?
Only one guy was sustained small injuries, and he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. But everybody else is totally fine.
Okay.
But there was
so they targeted the team, right?
They did, yeah. There was actual nails that were found in like the seat backs, like of the team bus, like from like the explosion. So like guys barely got out of there. Like it could have been way worse.
Wow.
But thank God everybody is just okay. That game, Adam says, is just kicking off as well too.
They only postponed it like 24 hours.
Yeah, Borussia Dortmund taking on Monaco.
See, this is the thing about soccer is some of these like European countries and I mean they get really into it. And when it comes to rivalries,
right.
like I will not take my kid to a Toronto Maple Leafs Sabres game in Toronto or a Sabres Flyers game in Philadelphia because I don't want my kid getting beer poured on him or stuff thrown at me, and I also don't want my infant son to learn words that he shouldn't know until he's at least 18 years old. So
at least,
yeah. But
we've been informed by our producer Tanner that we're almost at 100 comments.
We're almost at 100. What?
Almost at 100 comments.
Oh my God!
This is like
unbelievable.
Christmas freaking morning.
Unfreaking Greek freak believable.
Ungreek leaking yes.
All right. Well, let's.
I think we need to hash out the official details, though, for the Brew Sports Open. We talked about that to open the show, and I wanted to see if, now that we've had a lot of time for people to kind of hash out their own ideas, we need you to comment below and let us know the stipulations. Like, is it a 1 round? Is it a 4 round?
I think
is it like
it should at least be 2.
2 rounds.
I think realistically it's going to be 1 because it's going to be hard enough to get all of us together as it is. But I think it's realistically going to be 2. Maybe we can get some of the people watching to participate too. If we want to actually have like an actual event for this, that'd be fun.
Do we think did we Facebook Live the event as well too?
Oh yeah, are you kidding me?
I want to do it. I want to. Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say we can go out there like the Spring Breakers did with Rory McIlroy or God damn it, Ricky Fowler and Jordan Spieth.
You and Rory.
Me and Rory. I don't even like Rory McIlroy. I really don't. But I love Ricky Fowler and I love Jordan Spieth. And it's not just because I'm an American. America.
Love America.
Yeah.
Truck,
all right.
Yeah. See, I think we need to do what Dude Perfect did, though, where they played golf. They played a hole of golf using multiple sports objects.
Yes.
So they like teed off with the whistle vortex, the soccer ball.
With the exploding golf balls. I always love those.
Those are great.
The best $4 I ever spent.
Absolutely.
If I'm going to lose a ball and spend $4, I'd rather spend it on an exploding golf ball.
Right. Trevor says gold jacket, green jacket, who gives a bleep? Like, I mean, I feel like we need something, though. Like, you're saying you don't care until the jacket's actually going on your shoulders, and you're like,
yeah, well.
I won. Today apparently is National Grilled Cheese Sandwich Day, National Licorice Day,
Ooh, all right.
National Big Wind Day.
My dad's always coming in hot with the national days.
Bookmobile Day. Without laughter is a day wasted. Means.
All right, well, yeah. I mean, for the golf tournament, I really think that
$1,000 buy-in.
$1,000 buy-in. It'll be a pro-am. We'll get some celebrities. I'll get my boy JT and Jimmy Fallon on the course. But yeah, it'd be fun to do. Like maybe we have teams. We do a best ball one day and. Or I mean, I'm saying golf terms that you have no idea what they mean.
I know what best ball means. Okay. I'm not a total idiot. Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah. So.
Crap I put up with.
Oh my God. Anyways.
Brew Sports.
Unbelievable. Well, what do you think?
I think I'm ready to go if you are. I'm starving. I need to go eat my Italian.
I know. I'm hungry too. So you guys be sure to post and if you guys have any suggestions for our golf tournament. If you want to make a trip out here and join in on the fun, we're just in the planning process of it, but it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be fun. Maybe we can find a cool way to get the fans involved too, the people who are watching involved, like almost have a live viewer tournament of sorts. Maybe we could play live viewer golf bingo with. Maybe we can get David to come up with another bingo sheet for it. He says, yeah.
David, were you playing bingo today on the show? He wasn't.
No, he says no. He would have gotten one. I haven't adjusted my earpiece today, so that would have been the one square that would have screwed you. But
LeVar Ball.
I didn't say LeVar. Well, there it is.
There it is.
Wow, we made it to 11:55 without mentioning LeVar Ball. That's the first time in 3 weeks.
We got Tom Brady. I'm adjusting my. I almost dropped my microphone.
We got Tom Brady of the Patriots. Did I mention the Bills? Yes, I did.
Bills.
Yes, I did.
Neither of us had a beer to finish today. What else do we need to
Cash Me Outside?
How about that?
Which one?
Trump.
Oh, I did my Trump impression.
We got that one. We're good with that. I'm excited.
What was the quotes that you always had that you put in there for Baxter and I?
Oh, mine was we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
We'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. That was mine. And then yours is seriously.
Seriously, yeah.
Seriously, are you serious? Yeah, are you serious? Seriously.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, 100+ comments today. Thank you so much for everybody that swung by. It was amazing to have you all. I love the party. Love when the band's all here. When Trevor and Tom and Kurt and Adam and Dave and Jimmy and
Jody
Steve
and Pat.
Bob and Greg.
Brew Sports is coming on and watching.
Love when Brew Sports swings by. They're my favorite.
Oh my gosh, it's so great. It's so great.
Brew Sports Open. Send us your ideas. Social media at Brew Sportsnet, at Brew Sportsnet on Twitter and Instagram.
At Banner
Baxter
Turk.
Colburn.
At
Banner
Baxter
Turk.
Colburn.
Hashtag Brew Sports.
I'm Baxter Colburn. He's Tanner Burke. We have happy hour today. You guys have happy hour today?
Yeah, Doug Russell
Every
and Scott Wisniewski will be here.
5 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 o'clock Central Time. I'll be back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place at 11 Eastern or 11 Central. So until next time, I'm gonna go take a nap.
I'm gonna go play golf.
Baxter Colburn, I'm Tanner Burke. Thank you for watching Halftime, and we'll see you later. Unbelievable.